As you join the workforce after completing your studies, the job interview is probably the most unnerving part of the job search process. Why? Because it's the first time you come face to face with the person who's going to hire you. You definitely need to make a good impression to prove yourself as eligible for the position. But just how do you go about doing that? That's what this program is about. Today, we're going to show you how to present yourself at an interview and what to say to create a positive impression. Your prospective employer will have some expectations of the following. Your appearance. Do you look like the right person for the job? Your adaptive skills. Do you have skills like good communication skills, good interpersonal skills, and good problem-solving skills? And your job content skills. Can you handle the technical aspects of the job? In short, these three question types are part of the larger or main question, and that is, why should we employ you? Before you consider the specific interview questions, you should think about how to create a good first impression. To create a good first impression, you need to 1. Dress appropriately. 2. Be punctual. 3. Speak calmly and coherently. 4. Speak proper English. 5. Maintain eye contact. 6. Sit with a good posture. 7. Observe basic courtesies like switching off your handphone and sitting only after being invited to do so. Now, let us look at some questions that are typically asked in a job interview and how two interviewees, Johnny Lim and Susan Matthews, handle them. Usually, the interviewer will start with a general question, like this one.
Okay, Mr. Lim, can we start with you telling me something about yourself?
Okay. After my poly, I joined the army to do my national service. Wow, army life very xiong. Kena sent to one thorough combat engineering unit. We're sent to Thailand twice for training. When I come out of the army, I work as a software designer.
I don't think Johnny has made a good impression, has he? What could he have done to project a better image? You're right. He has to be aware of the way he speaks and conducts himself. Let's see him attempt that question again.
Now, Mr. Lim, why don't you tell me something about yourself?
In 1999, I graduated with a diploma in civil and structural engineering from the Singapore Polytechnic. After that, I went into the army to serve my national service. I spent 2.5 years in a combat engineering unit as a section commander. Following my NS, I joined Singapore Technologies as a software designer and have been there for the last 2 years.
Now, that's better, don't you think? You may have noticed that Johnny elaborates on his achievements by highlighting important aspects of his experiences that project him in better light. If you are a fresh graduate and are exempted from national service, you could answer the question like how Susan does it in this next segment.
Now, Miss Matthews, why don't you tell me something about yourself?
Well, I've just graduated from the Singapore Polytechnic with a diploma in chemical process technology. This course has familiarized me with various equipment such as the HPLC, UV spectrophotometer and GCMS. During my industrial attachment, I worked with Stifel Laboratories and CISA as a trainee. There I also gained hands-on experience in quality assurance management and on-site sampling techniques.
Now, let's look at some interview questions about education and how Johnny and Susan handle them.
You mentioned earlier that you have a polytechnic education. Why did you choose to go to the polytechnic?
I think that the polytechnic is better than a junior college because all they do in JC is study and learn theories that are not very practical at all. In any case, I did not qualify for JC and I did not get my preferred course of study at the polytechnic.
Do you think Susan has made a good impression with her educational background? Perhaps she should have made it sound more positive and not put herself or the other educational institutions down. Let's see her try that again.
My O-level results gave me a wide option of higher education. However, I chose to go to the Polytechnic as I believe it can provide me with the necessary skills to be an engineer once I graduate. Also, the resources at the Polytechnic are excellent and I like the nature of the engineering programs. Furthermore, if I intend to further my studies after obtaining my diploma, it's always a possibility.
Sometimes, because you may not have much work experience, the interviewers may ask you about some of your co-curricular activities or hobbies to see if they are of any relevance to the position. They may also ask you questions to see how reflective, adaptable and professional you are. Let's see how Johnny and Susan handled some of these questions.
Did you participate in any CCA while you were at the Polytechnic?
Yes,
Well, what were they?
archery and drama.
Did you do any special projects?
No.
Have you pursued any educational courses in the meantime?
Yes.
Now, depending on the economic situation and work demands, we may have to ask you to work overtime. How do you feel about that?
Overtime, ah? Those have to work overtime? I did not know it's required for this position. I guess it could really mess up my timetable. I guess I could try it for a while.
Okay, at this point, do you have any questions about the job or the company?
Yes, I'd like to know if there's overtime pay for staff and the company gives scholarships to employees.
After the initial good impression, Johnny has run out of things to say. At the job interview, it's important to sustain interest. Don't give one-word answers. Talk about your activities in school and how you have improved yourself since then. Show a positive attitude towards work. At the interview, 1. Be prepared to talk about how you have used some skills by giving relevant examples. 2. Project a positive attitude towards work. 3. Be positive about your present or previous employers. 4. Display confidence by giving details of achievements and experience. 5. Link your experience to its relevance to the new position. 6. Ask questions that will portray your positive work attitude and that you are truly interested in the job. Let's see how Susan handles the same question.
Did you participate in any CCA in the Polytechnic?
Yes, I sang for the choir, NESP, and I was the captain of the netball club in the Polytechnic. I even competed in the inter-varsity netball competition.
Did you do any special projects?
No, but in my final year, I helped to develop an automated system to monitor the lightings in MRT stations. Not only did I gain hands-on experience, I also learned to work and communicate well with my team members and as well as the staff from the organization.
Have you pursued any other educational courses since you graduated?
Yes, I attended a management course conducted by the Department of Industry Services at Singapore Polytechnic. In fact, I brought along the certificate and other documents to show you.
Now, depending on the economic situation and work demands, we may have to ask you to work overtime. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm flexible when working hours are concerned, and I understand that the nature of this job may require me to work overtime.
At this point, do you have any questions about the job or the company?
Yes, I believe in constantly upgrading my skills so as to stay relevant in the industry and useful to the company. As such, I would like to know if there are any in-house courses for me to continually improve the quality of my work.
That's the way. Susan is able to sustain the interest of her interviewers by effectively portraying herself as suitable for the position. However, the interview doesn't usually end here. Another question which often comes up is this next one.
What made you decide to join us?
I don't know. I saw the advertisement and thought I'd give it a shot.
What do you know about our company?
Not much actually.
Then why do you want to join us?
To get more experience?
Oh dear, Johnny's in trouble again. Do you know why? This is because he hasn't the faintest idea why he wants to join this company. This makes him look like he doesn't care about the company or how he's going to fit into it. Furthermore, never say that you are joining the company to get experience. It suggests that you will leave once you have gained the experience. A key element of selling yourself at an interview is to come prepared with information about the company. You can find out from friends and acquaintances who have dealings with the company. Ask them what it's like. Ask them about the types of products or services it offers. You can also find out a lot about the company by looking at its annual report. The reference department of our SP library and the community libraries keep annual reports of government ministries, statutory boards, quasi-government companies, and private companies. You can also find information about a company by looking at the business section of the Straits Times or the Business Times. You can even obtain information by assessing a company's website. So, be prepared to be tested on your knowledge of the company and how you fit into their picture. Another question that interviewers may sometimes ask is your own opinion about yourself. A question like this shows how reflective you are about your own qualities, like this one.
What would you consider as some of your strengths and weaknesses?
For my strengths, I guess I'm very hardworking, and as for my weaknesses, I find it difficult to work with certain types of people who are very fussy. They make me upset and I'm unable to do my work well. I'm also not good in my mother tongue, which has been the case since primary school.
Be careful with questions like these. Your aim is to be positive and elaborate on your strengths. Try to emphasize your strengths rather than your weaknesses. But what about your weaknesses? Well, you should downplay them or mention one, and then choose one which may be perceived as a strength as well. Alternatively, you should explain what you're doing about that weakness so that the employer knows that you are trying to improve yourself.
What would you consider as some of your strengths and weaknesses?
For my weaknesses, I guess I'm not very strong in my mother tongue, so I've taken up Tamil at a community center. I believe that this might be useful too for this position, as you do have many clients in South India.
Another question that sometimes comes up, which can be sensitive, is what is your salary expectation? This is a tough question because if there is a mismatch between what you think you're worth and what the company is willing to pay, further potentially beneficial discussion for both parties would come to a deadlock. Let's see how Johnny and Susan handled this one.
What are your salary expectations for this position?
Yes, I've indicated quite clearly in letter and resume, it is 2,300 a month.
Oh no. This is as good as reminding the interviewer that he has not done his job by scrutinizing your application letter and resume. Let's see how Susan's doing.
What are your salary expectations for this position?
I don't know. How much are you willing to pay?
This suggests that Susan is not confident of her worth to the company, and her question puts the interviewer in a tight spot. Let's see an improved version of how our interviewees could have handled the situation better.
What is your salary expectation for this position?
May I know the salary scale for someone with my academic and work experience?
What are your salary expectations for this position?
Based on my academic qualifications and work experience, I came for this interview with a realistic salary expectation within the range of 1,004 to 1,006.
As you can see, this is a difficult question to handle. To address it realistically and for your own interest, you may want to do the following. 1. Look at the whole employment package like insurance, health and dental policy. You may also want to consider job title, professional training, vacations, working hours and conditions, promotional prospects and other fringe benefits. 2. Offer a range rather than a fixed amount, as this gives room for negotiation. 3. Do your homework and have a good idea of what the industry standard is. Finally, one last point about selling yourself.
Now, Miss Matthews, can you give us any reason why we should employ you?
I don't know. I guess the decision is yours to make.
Susan needs to do better than that. At an interview, you need to be able to show the employers why you are the best candidate for the job. Let's look at how this can be done.
Now, Miss Matthews, can you give us any reason why we should employ you?
Well, firstly, I have the necessary qualifications required. Secondly, I'm hardworking and can work well in a team. Most importantly, with my experience at the Singapore Polytechnic, I believe I can make a strong contribution to your company.
That's the way to handle difficult interview questions. Remember, you should not only convince your employers that you are suitable for the job, but that you are superior to other candidates. Good luck for your job interview and show them exactly why they should employ you.
Any reason why we should employ you?
Because normally she gives the very straight face, and that's why she was like... Well, as staff of the organization.
On the rolling.
On the road, they ask you to cut.
Garbage truck, yeah. It's taking a long time to empty the garbage, huh? SP must produce a lot of rubbish. There will be a running commentary about it. Please disregard the noise in the background. It's just a dump truck.
Yes.
Show my teeth or not? Sometimes they show teeth, sometimes they don't show teeth. Show my teeth or not? Okay. Do you have any questions about the job or the company?
Yes, I'd like to know there's overtime pay for staff and the company gives scholarships.
Okay, at this point, do you have any questions about the job or the company?
Cannot.
I don't look at you lah.
I think it's smaller. Scholarships. Okay, scholarships.